Welcome to Pass the Baton. My name is Arj, and this is your 9-minute Olympics recap from day 2 of the Olympics in Paris. Remember, don't miss out on a day's worth of action. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you tell your friends, drop us a comment. Let us know what you're loving about the Olympics right now. First story for you is Max Litchfield. He came 4th in the swimming. It was the 400 IM individual medley, and it's the 3rd Olympics in a row in which he has come 4th. It was unbelievable. He was at the front, and then he was in 3rd, and then he lost just by a millisecond, lost that bronze position, and still got a British record. This is one of those painful Olympic and sporting moments, and to make it even worse, that would have actually have won him the last Olympics in Tokyo. Next up, we saw Andy Murray and Dan Evans. Andy loves to keep us clinging on and really fighting the emotions because they were 5 match points down and then somehow managed to win. And they were actually roaring that victory on the side. The commentators referred to how terribly they performed on the day. The French sensation, Leon Marchand, was in the pool and, well, he delivered, didn't he? He absolutely delivered. He was so fast that he was out of shot when they were looking at his competitors in the pool, and likewise, vice versa. He did take the victory. His backstroke was absolutely sublime. And although he missed out on a world record, his own world record, he did secure a victory with an Olympic record. Another thing to add to the young swimmer's bow. Our odd moment of the day, actually goes to the gentleman, the member of staff who had to retrieve a swimming cap from the pool. I'm not going to lie. If I had that job, I would probably choose some very low-key swimming trunks. Instead, he had some big, spotty trunks, very colourful, and he did so in front of 15,000 people. Luckily, he managed to grab that swimming cap first time off the floor, though. Excellent. Anyway, back to the action, and we had the honour of being able to witness Team USA's basketball team, perhaps the next dream team. This is where we have a squad so deep that there was actually no room for the captain of the current NBA champions, the Celtics, the captain being Jason Tatum. There was no room for him to play, and that's about how much time on the court. Steve Kerr, who's the USA head coach, said he felt stupid not being able to play Jason. But the depth of their team is so incredible that they just didn't have any opportunity to play him. Most interestingly is the fact that Kevin Durant and LeBron James paired up to score the highest score for Team USA basketball as a duo in history. Now, Team USA Basketball have had a very rocky warm-up schedule. They've really scraped victories. There's been things in the past where they have kind of struggled to beat European sides, thinking back to Spain. But they came up against Serbia, and Serbia was boasting the multi-award-winning, multi-MVP player, Nikola Jokic, and it wasn't really too much of a challenge for them. Amazing performances on the court, and they will be moving forward to play South Sudan on Wednesday. We're going to head back to the pool for the second semi-final of the women's 100-meter breaststroke. And the first odd thing that happened here was the Argentinian athlete, who was the first athlete to enter the pool, came out to find that the Chinese flag was being displayed. She wasn't quite sure what to do. She was looking around, but ended up having just to go for it. So that is, in terms of a sports psychology thing, really unfortunate. It really throws you off your game. You're not in your pattern of thinking, whether you're in a zone or you like to be really hyped. That's something unusual, and that's the one thing that you don't want as an athlete. Then we had the BBC commentator refer to Ruta Meliotite as having had a 2-year break from swimming. If you've ever watched BBC's coverage of athletics, if someone has served a doping ban, they make a very big statement to say that they were out of the sport because they have failed a doping test and they've served a doping ban. That's the same case here. Ruta served a 2-year doping ban, and I think it's really important that we make sure everyone understands that this person didn't participate. She was an absolute child prodigy, whether it was not down to her, the doping or whatever. it's really important that we make it clear. Anyway, Ruta didn't place in the top 3. She ended up in 8th place, 7th place, something like that, whilst the British swimmer managed to progress in 4th. Then we had the women's 100-metre fly final with Gretchen Walsh, who beat the world record in the US trials, and then the Olympic record in the semis here at the Paris Olympics. But she was beaten by Terri Huske in what could only be the final moments right at the end. And interestingly, the difference between the two athletes is that Terri didn't breathe for the last 10 meters. Head down and just swam right through to that wall. That was the only difference between those two. And obviously, there is a little bit of additional resistance when you're lifting your head up to breathe. Maybe that was the big change here. Then perhaps the headline event, at least here in Britain, was the men's 100-metre breaststroke. We saw a semi-final that separated 8 swimmers by just 0.52 seconds. There's been lots and lots of talk about Adam Peaty, whether he's in the right condition, whether he's not quite there. After the semis, everyone was talking about how phenomenal he was looking. And to go through what he's done, keep his motivation, refined some of the passion for the sport, etc., to make a final, I think is great. And that's what we should really be talking about. He came away with silver. He didn't get the gold, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Perhaps it's better for him to have taken the silver and know there's other people around him who can take the baton on, pass the baton, or really struggle with, rather than struggle, knowing that he's the only person that can keep going. He came second. He came joint second to Marchand from Italy, and it was a fantastic celebration. The one thing, if you notice their finish, is that Peaty glided to the wall, whereas the Italian managed to finish on his full stroke. That's a big difference in swimming. Anyway, we move on to canoe slalom, and we had Kimberley Woods from Great Britain securing a bronze medal due to the disaster of a final run from the German athlete Funk. They are the defending Olympic champion. Now, this is really unfortunate, but this isn't unusual in sport. We've seen this in the first 2 days already of the Olympics. Pressure is a huge component of sport, and understanding how to maximize your negative talk, your positive reinforcement, and be able to zone everything out, zone out the noise, is a huge factor. And someone who has really been nailing their sports psychology is Simone Biles. Check that out for a segue. Simone Biles was back for the all-round, and she was owning the stage. She brought all the celebrities down with her. She dominated with some complex moves, an amazing dismount from the beam. I was watching that one closely, couldn't get my head around it. Unbelievable. Not to mention, she was wearing the most expensive Olympic uniform of all time. It sparkles. It was amazing. She qualified with over 59.56 points, one of the highest qualifying values. She landed the Biles 2. It's the first time it's ever been done at an Olympic Games. She scored immensely high at 15.8 just for that one move. And she will be returning to the gymnastics over the next couple of days as they go into the final. Now, what to look forward to? Next, we're going to have Tom Daley and Noah Williams. Tom is returning for his 5th Olympics in the hunt for a 5th medal at an Olympic Games. That's crazy. Just to say that out loud. Absolutely mad. But he's going to be performing at the Olympics due to the fact that his son, Robbie, wanted to see him compete once again. So there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of reasoning behind why he's returned from retirement to go back onto the synchronized 10-meter diving. So definitely look out for that. We also have, check this out, Rafa Nadal versus Jokic in the tennis. It's the 60th time these guys are going to meet. Jokic is currently winning 30-29. So if Nadal walks away with a victory, he'll even things up at 30-30. But if we're brutally honest, Nadal has been injured since his last Grand Slam victory. He hasn't really played a lot of tennis. He's currently carrying an injury. But if anything's on his side, it's that Roland Garros is basically his home. He has won more times here than any other athlete. That's why he was carrying that torch. He's almost an honorary Frenchman. And you just can't put anything out of champions' reach, like someone like Nadal, Tiger Woods, etc., etc. All of these fantastic athletes just have the ability to turn it up. We've also got some great action in the pool from Duncan Scott and Matt Richards to look forward to. We've got action from around the world with interests in cross-country biking, that is, in the fencing, and not to mention badminton, handball, all of those events all taking place, the men's all-round gymnastics all taking place on tomorrow's coverage. For now, though, make sure you hit subscribe. My name is Arj, and you've been watching Pass the Baton. Bye-bye.